Alright guys, so we have a bunch of good stuff to talk about regarding Modern Warfare multiplayer and the game at large. A bunch of new stuff that came out during a recent interview, and then also some stuff with them acknowledging microtransactions. And for the first time, it seems like a Call of Duty developer is at least acknowledging it and really saying like, guys, we are going to make these microtransactions fair, or as fair as we can. And we'll go through what that means for the game, people's concerns, because obviously that's the make or break for this game, microtransactions. But I also want to lighten things up, and there's also a bunch of other hopeful stuff we could be seeing for this game as well that we'll cover within this video. So let's get started here with the main topic. Infinity Ward says, we hear you in regards to questions about microtransactions in Modern Warfare, says they'll share more closer to launch. So let's go through the specifics of that. I just want to leave this response here from Cinema. This is what will make or break the game. Like I said earlier, this is the one thing that I feel like everyone is just on the edge of their seats about, me included. I'm hyped for this game. Everything I've seen, I've liked, I'm excited for. I enjoyed the gunfight alpha. I'm ready for the beta, but I mean, microtransactions really could ruin this game, and this could be a huge breaking point for this game when they reveal what exactly they're going to be doing for microtransactions, how it's going to work, and all that cool stuff. So this is actually where this originally came from. So it was a Reddit post on, I guess, the Modern Warfare subreddit. It says, have there been any extensive interviews with the developers asking them what to expect with Modern Warfare's microtransaction system? Every interview I've seen is so concerned about things like gunplay, map design, multiplayer modes, campaign, but I'm not seeing a single interview where the interviewer is picking at their brains regarding microtransactions. And then obviously someone responded from Infinity Ward saying, you know, we'll share more closer to launch and all of that cool stuff, and not really specifying what the situation is. But at least, again, this is not the first time. So we've seen stuff before where they've said, we want to make microtransactions fair within this game. We want to actually have some sort of effort to where you guys are enjoying the game, you guys are buying the supply drops, or, you know, wherever the like, obviously guys, we're gonna see microtransactions within this game. That's a guarantee. But they could make it in a decent way to where it's not pay to win. You don't have these weapons, you know, locked behind these paywalls. Like, they could make it to a point where it makes sense for the game. We just have to see how exactly that is going to work out. So here's something else from the article, Charlie Intel article actually. Launching the $50 season pass for the game in favor of free maps, but it's not clear how they'll reflect the lack of the season pass in the microtransaction models. So obviously the point here is that if there's no season pass, they're not making money there, they're going to want to make more money in microtransactions. So Infinity Ward saying we're going to make these microtransactions fair, and they hear us and they understand why we're complaining, especially about Black Ops 4, means that there's probably some huge internal struggle between Infinity Ward and Activision. Activision really wants the money, really wants the revenue, especially because there's no season pass and DLC sales, and Infinity Ward's like, guys, we just want to make a good game, like, calm down, we're going to have microtransactions in there, but you know, they have to be fair and they have to make sense. So hopefully there's a whole team really putting some thought into this here. Here's another comment. Probably want to keep real quiet about it because it's going to be something scummy. I really hope not, but those are the vibes I'm getting. So here's the only thing is, you know, the only, like, I like that they're acknowledging microtransactions, and Infinity Ward time and time again throughout the past couple months, like I've said, you know, they said, we know what you guys are saying, we hear you guys, we want them to be fair, you know, all of this different stuff. But the fact that they're not mentioning anything, you know, is a little eerie. And usually, look, usually with the past couple games, like with Black Ops 4, they didn't say anything. Not only did they not mention anything, they literally said, and if you guys can, I can't find the quote, maybe if you guys can find it, they said before Black Ops 4 the supply drops would be cosmetic only. I mean, they said that. I mean, it's actually insane that they went back on their word. They started putting weapons in the supply drops, or reserves, whatever they call it, and then they started actually locking weapons behind reserves later on in the game cycle. So they just completely lied. So Modern Warfare, Infinity Ward, they're not lying, and they're at least also saying, like, okay guys, we're gonna make microtransactions, you know, good, fair, however you want to put it. So I understand why this guy's getting these bad vibes about them not mentioning it, but I think we're in a lot better of a position than we've ever been before. Now, enough of that. Let's go through a bunch of other news for this game. Infinity Ward confirms new weapons that will be added to Modern Warfare, but devs say no comment on how it will be added. So this ties into microtransactions, and Only if you're not being optimistic, you're gonna think like, oh, obviously this means that they want to add new weapons, we're gonna have new weapons, but we're not so sure how they're gonna add them to the game, so that means it's gonna be through supply drops, and either one, they don't want to say, or two, which I guess is a better option, they want to find the best way to bring us new weapons without them being locked behind supply drops. So I think for one, the worst part about Black Ops 4 is that weapons are locked behind reserves, and Infinity Ward probably will not do that. I think that there's no way they're going to do that. So however they're going to add these weapons, I'm pretty sure they're going to go the route of either just giving them to us and then selling us, the camos for the new weapons, or they're going to make it so you have to just buy it up front. Like COD Ghost, the Ripper, I'm pretty sure, I mean, it was a part of a DLC pack, but then a couple months later you could buy the Ripper for $4 or $5. That's not as bad. That's a huge discount to spending 20, 40, 60 bucks on reserves for a chance, not a guarantee, a chance of getting the new DLC weapon. Anyone would rather pay $5 for a DLC weapon. So if that's how they're gonna do it, fine, whatever. Next thing here, let's talk about Ground War. Ground War is going to be within the open beta. The Gamer Revolution actually leaked this a couple of weeks ago, probably a couple of months ago. Probably he leaked it back in May, but it's going to be pretty sick because the YouTubers, influencers played Ground War at their sort of open invite event, not open invite, I guess it was a closed invite event on August 1st when the multiplayer reveal happened, and Ground War was a bit controversial. Some people liked it, some people didn't, so we'll see how it actually plays within the game. I think a lot of people definitely are excited to try it out. 10v10, 20v20, whatever it is. I doubt that huge mode, that 50v50 mode. That's not Battle Royale. There's a separate 50v50 mode that's probably not going to be within the beta. That seems a bit too crazy. But probably the 10v10, 20v20, we're really going to see how that works if it's too similar to Battlefield. People were saying the maps were too large and it was really hard to find anyone, and people were pretty much just camping in their own sort of respective locations on the map. And if you would run outside, I think T Martin said this, or Prestigious Key, like if you would run outside, you just die immediately because people were just camping in all different areas. So hopefully it's not like that, and we'll see if it's something they need to change. Infinity Ward devs say they're not sure if ranked play will be available in Modern Warfare at launch. Not that big of a deal to me, but for a lot of people who liked ranked play, I mean, they say most Infinity Ward games haven't really had any sort of good ranked play functionality. Ghost had something sort of similar, not really, added on later on in the game cycle. Infinity Ward or Infinite Warfare had GBs integrated in the game, but still no full-fledged ranks play. I mean, we haven't had a good ranks play since Black Ops 2, honestly. I'm pretty sure you guys that play ranks play know that Black Ops 2, first time it was added, it was league play, it was the best time, and then since then just went downhill. So if you guys want ranks play, I don't know, man. Hopefully they're spending more time to actually refine it and make it a really good ranked play, and that's why it might not be at launch. But it's like this thing where this game, it needs to be finished at launch. That's the whole point of a release date. A release date is supposed to be when the game releases. So if they're not going to finish ranked play, that could mean they're not going to finish another mode, and that can mean they're not going to finish part of Spec Ops, and it could lead on to so many different things. So even if you're not playing ranked play and you don't care about ranked play, you should be concerned with this, because that means that they're not finishing the stuff they need to get done. So just saying there, I don't like that they're not finishing that, but hopefully maybe they get it done. You never know. Last thing here, Infinity Ward devs say the studio was divided over No Russian Mission back in MW2's development. Says this year's game has many intense moments. So I guess what they're saying is that, we're gonna have the same sort of vibe as that time, which we already know, but maybe, they're not saying they're divided now, but they might be hinting at the fact that, this studio is actively really going through these same controversial missions and trying to make these decisions like they were making back in No Russian, and potentially the studio may be sort of divided right now making Modern Warfare, trying to figure out, okay, do we add this scene within the game? Do we cut it? And there have been times, there have been leaks saying that Modern Warfare's campaign not being censored, but people within the studio have been saying like, oh, you know what, we need to just take this part out. It's just not necessary to have this graphic of a scene. And also, they need to take stuff out from the game because they need to make it a mature M-rated game. And some of the stuff just goes beyond the M-rated game. And honestly, if they had Modern Warfare as an adult-rated game, which is above M-rated, then they're just going to sell less copies, and that's just not good for the game overall. A lot less people will be able to buy that, and it would be pretty sick, but obviously is not good for their company, for their game. So that's another reason why they need to actually cut certain parts. So the fact that they're having these same controversial, sort of, I can't say arguments because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but there's definitely some big decisions being made, and that's definitely a good thing because that means that this campaign is really just different and interesting and, unique, that we've never really had this, sort of moment before where these devs have to make these decisions. Before, it was just like, oh, we're making a Call of Duty campaign, that's it, whatever. Black Ops 4, I guess they didn't even have that topic at all because there's no campaign, but that's pretty much that. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.